rest will put in you.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely a magical stimulant.
All right, who has a 100-word summary?
Alex is absolutely making you coffee for when you get up. He gives you a depressant to get you to sleep, and then he gives you a cup of magical coffee.
So here's the thing: Lucius has that class feature, that invocation, where he does not sleep on a long rest or anything. He can do light activity for the
And that's why
rest.
that's why he's giving you Ambien. It's like,
Okay, so last time we read the hint book. We went through the door with the dragon turtle. We went through the door with the pandemonium. We went through the door with the forge golem. And the forge golem attacked us. We shot it a bit, and it decided it didn't like that. That's where we are.
Right.
So
We
the
had a
forge
pop-up.
golem had just yielded to you.
Yep, this is true.
Good times.
It occurs to me that I'm going to have to change Bob's tile before I load it into the table because he's chosen blue as his color.
You need me to do a different color?
Without even asking me, what color should I pick? And
I did ask you what color should I pick.
plaid.
Bob
Show
the
me
plaid.
No, it
Bob
doesn't
the
matter.
plaid.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
You guys had found 2 of the keys, is that correct?
Yes, we were going to make the third one.
That was the plan. Yes.
Currently sitting in this room, the forge golem has gone to its knees and is that's the monster that I actually... Oh no, I did make a change to it. I did alter it in 1. I gave it a grapple attack.
Yeah, it chewed on Scrappy a little bit.
Well, the stat block says that it can only... It tries to attack you, and if it's a critical hit, it automatically throws you into the forge. And I'm like, how about I make a grapple attack that does no damage, and if that hits, it can then move you into the forge. That way I can get somebody into that forge without having to roll a critical hit. But they don't get the full critical hit damage on the same turn that they get thrown into the forge. I was hoping to melt Scrappy down, basically.
Yep.
No, that's totally fair.
But at the moment, it's on its knees. It's contrite. It yields to your superior prowess. It has no desire to die here today.
All right, well, I'll call Scrappy back, and I'll ask the golem, so can you provide fire to smiths willingly, then, if you've yielded?
It tells you, and it's speaking like a bizarre form of common now. It tells you that it's its nature to serve. It will work as long as you don't ask over much.
All right, I'll start piling together lead scraps to melt down to pour into this key mold.
So you bring the little crucible out, and you see the creature recognizes it. And he says, "You ask much, but not over much." The implication being that if he makes his key, your interaction with it will be at an end.
Yep.
You will go in peace.
Works for me. So yeah, I'll start melting lead and make a key with this mold I have.
Why lead?
Because that's just what Alex works with for 90% of his stuff.
The epilogue of Flumph Inc. is Alex died of lead poisoning.
Gnomes are
Look, the Dryad already warned us about it.
No, the epilogue of Flumph Inc. is we all die from cancer because all the cigarettes we've been smoking that he gives us.
I thought those were like Big Boss fake vapes.
Man, you give us caffeine, you give us Ambien, you give us cigarettes, you work with lead, so we're near lead.
Well, I mean, it's like we're literally the Ghostbusters. We just need Walter Peck to come in here and shut us down.
Connor's in the
Yeah,
back of the
I
room.
build I make a little, assuming nothing, do I need to make any sort of checks for this?
No, because he's doing all the work. He takes the lead crucible
Oh, great.
filled with the scraps, places it inside of its stomach in the giant opening, clutches his eyes together, squishes his face up, and he huffs and he puffs, and every time he does, the flames inside roar up, filling up the entire cavity and jet up through the chimney, going up directly through his head and blowing out the top of his head. And after a few moments, he takes it, the crucible out, waddles over to one of his workstations, goes around the edge with a chisel to open the ceramic crucible up. It breaks open, and inside, a glowing key. And he works it for a few moments, and he takes it up in a great pair of tongs, and he thrusts it down into a vat of water, and with a great hiss, steam rises up. And he pulls it out, and he works it for a few more moments. And this process repeats. You can tell that this man is a student of his craft and a perfectionist at that. So after 5 or 6 minutes of working, so we can go ahead and alter this the timer up here.
Alex, while he's doing this, then after the first light ever clear, it's gonna take more than a few minutes. Is gonna start casting mendings on Scrappy, pull out his hammer and his own tools, and start undoing some of that fire damage.
Okay. Yeah, after 5 or 6 minutes, the forge golem turns around and hands the key and says to you that its debt is paid now. Nonetheless, he hopes that with this treasure, you don't buy more than you can bargain for. And he hands Alex the key.
That's the Flumph way, as far as I've seen.
Oh, thank you. We won't disturb you any longer. I got one more mending.
As you guys are leaving the room, he waddles back to his position at the back of the room, in the empty part of the forge, and hunkers back down on his haunches so this chain skirt that he's wearing spreads out across the floor. And you see, he starts breathing deeply, kind of a meditative exercise. And as he does, the embers inside cool and cool and cool very rapidly.
Neat.
Connor, you don't use concentration, do you, for a lot of your magic?
What you thinking, Lucius?
I need you to make my hands stay my hands.
Okay.
Just on the off chance I have to use my concentration to use some other magic.
So, I will make sure I understand this. You want me to think about your hands.
Yeah. Just as they are now.
Am I remembering right that 12 is the room with the keyholes?
Yeah, you're right.
Indeed it is.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Alex is here taking off his armor, putting it piece by piece on Scrappy to get through this narrow section.
I'll do the same thing.
I mean,
If you're not okay with it, that's fine. I'll deal with it some other way.
no. It's just, it's a lot of responsibility.
So we gotta knock 20 minutes off that water breathing.
Already.
Yeah. No, another 20 minutes because we got to
Oh,
take.
another 20.
Yeah, we got to
Yeah,
take our
way to go
armor off
through.
and put it back on. While we're putting our armor back on, Gus is going to say, Alex, we should go back over here and tell
Yep.
them what we found out about the thing because we were going to do that last time.
Lucius, you want to do that since we're busy, putting armor on? I'll send Scrappy with you.
Regrettably, I don't see doing them much good because they're going to have to exit the room.
I know,
There's,
but
there's no other way to exit the room except
Like-
through their scrambly portal.
Brick Road, since he looked at the thing, how many of those, it sounded like to me that a lot of those portals were not, there was lots of random locations, but most of them sounded not like instant death.
Yeah, you're a prime material, all right. You're clueless.
Yep.
And
Make an Arcana check.
Besides, if we do have solved all of Lord Taker's puzzles, then what's to say that, if assuming we don't kill him outright, that he doesn't just say, okay, it's time to tear all this apart and start again from scratch.
24.
And he's got a new
24
pile of nonsense.
Yeah.
Gus has not actually studied the planes, but you've studied enough magic, especially this past year or so, that you have an appreciation for how many different kinds of planes there are. And the terms that it helps you to think of is like, okay, say that this wasn't taking place in a multiverse. What if this was just taking place back on Trennis? Or even just in Dunfoss, like the 50-mile area around Dunfoss. If you roll random dice and a doorway goes to just a random spot somewhere in that radius, what are the chances you'll survive? And you start thinking about it, and it's incredibly low. Because you might walk through a door and end up in the air 500 feet and fall to your death. You might walk through a door and end up deep underwater. You might walk through a door and end up encased in stone under the city. Or inside somebody's fireplace. Or there's just... It's actually remarkable how few places there are just in Dunfoss that don't instantly kill you. And based on that, you would not want to take your chances with that wandering portal.
Well, that is true, but at the same time, I still think we should tell them what we know. If anything, even if it increases their chances of survival just a little bit, it'll make me feel better. Because I'm not going in there.
Okay, we're gonna go talk to the feast crew before using the keys.
Sure. Oops.
So move your way down the slope, because remember, this is a pretty steep grade coming down here.
Yep.
And going back to the feast door. And they're still in there. They're feasting away and bickering amongst themselves. This motley crew of Sigillians. The same woman as before, with the dim orb circling above her head, stands and returns to the door of the room. And you see she looks somewhat sullen as she asks whether the vault has defeated you.
Not as of yet.
Connor says nothing, but he is very intently staring at Lucius's hands. And every time he does like a little gesture, his head moves with it.
Are you concentrating on
We're
Lucius's
about
hands?
to take what we think is our exit. We're just coming back here to let you know that we learned a bit about the vault. That is a wandering portal, which will take you to any number of random and probably terrible places. Yeah, I don't know how that's useful.
And you hear, it's inside the room, the gross and fat human, who seems to be eating twice as much as anybody else at the feast, calls out, says, "Really? Is there any other useful information you can give us, Doctor?" And there's some snickering and laughing from inside of the room.
No. That's it.
If you see a dragon turtle, turn around.
Just
And
figured,
Alex will head back.
Gus says, we just wanted you to know, because knowing is better than not knowing, I guess. Ciao.
It's okay, Gus. You did the right thing.
I don't see that there was too much of a point to that, but
No, but it didn't cost us anything.
Gus still felt bad after murdering Yashnars. He had to do something nice to try to balance it out. All right, what's next?
So we've actually poked our head inside this room before, right?
I know, I don't think we have.
Yes, you have.
No, we have.
Yes.
It's a more or less featureless room, but in the center of it is a vertical stone that rises up out of the floor that has the three keyholes: the triangle, the skull, and the intertwined spiral.
Well, I mean, you've got the keys, right?
I've got a key. and Alex. So I think we should probably do these all at the same time.
Yep. On
Alright,
three.
3 and then turn, or turn on 3.
On
On
three.
3.
Got it.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Turn.
Well, the keys don't turn, but as soon as you put the third one into the slot, right where Gus is standing, you hear a grinding sound. I don't think so. You were standing. There you go.
Don't you dare! Don't you dare, honey.
Look at this fool over here. He's the guy where like he's playing D&D. It's like I open the door and the DM says roll a dex check, and he goes, "Oh, then I don't do that then."
I didn't realize I was falling. I was just stepping out of the way.
There's nothing to step out of the way from, but you hear a grinding sound kind of beneath your feet, and a few of the few inches of floor slide away, revealing a cavity. And rising up out of the cavity is just an archway, made out of the same material as the walls, and it sits flush with the back wall as well. And it rises a good 7 feet out of the ground or so. And it's not an archway to anywhere in particular, just against the back wall. And then all at once, you hear the sound of rushing water. And now I will need a dex saving throw from everybody in the room except for Scrappy, who's standing in the corner.
11.
How much time do we have left on that water breathing?
Yes.
Alex got a
23.
dex save of 20.
Who got an 11?
Gus.
Gus.
Lucius got a 12.
Lucius got a 12.
Yeah.
All right, Gus. We'll do you first here.
I love it when you do me, Brick.
It's going to be 5 points of bludgeoning damage. Alex.
Mm-hmm.
You have the choice of moving to this square or this square.
Is that in addition to the damage after making the save?
You don't take any damage from the save.
Okay. I will move to this square.
And Connor, you have the same choice. This square or this square.
Corner seems good.
All right, now Lucius takes some damage. Lucius,
Hey,
15 points of bludgeoning damage.
that's not fair.
As water comes flying out, pouring through this portal that is now opened up. With such immense pressure, Gus, you are blown back against this wall and knocked prone. Lucius, you were blown back against this wall and knocked prone. And no sooner are you knocked prone here that the water is gushing out of this doorway with such force that it is starting to flood the entire slope.
Oh, shit.
You're laying prone. From that position, I will give you a strength saving throw made at disadvantage.
He left my line of sight, didn't he? God damn it.
did.
He left everybody's line of sight from those positions.
That's a 7.
A 7.
Yeah.
All right. This gets fun. I've calculated this out ahead of time. How many hit points do you have left?
38.
Ooh, let's see if I can get 38 then.
I'd really rather you didn't.
I'm rolling kind of low. I might get there. I might. Ah, 34 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
As you're trying to get to your feet. Connor is concentrating on your hands right now, correct?
Yeah.
Connor, when Lucius is here, you have line of sight to him because you can peer around through the doorway. Actually, no, you can't because of all the water pouring through. So, Lucius, you're going to have to make a concentration save against that 38 or against that 34.
Are you okay. I made it.
Made it.
No, Brick Road. You're not gonna deal you're not gonna deal that extra 4 points of damage to me, Brick Road. I'm sorry. You keep that evil away from me. You cannot deceive me.
I was totally gonna try.
Like, valiant effort, sir, but
What's that DC of 34 damage concentration check?
it's like 15.
It's not so bad, I guess. But here's what happens.
16.
The water is coming out with such force that you would swear there's more water pouring through this doorway every second than could possibly fit through. And it's turning this steep grade into a water slide. And try as you might, but you just tumble down, banging against the walls and the floor, choking all the way until you crash against the wall, battered and bruised at the end. And you're still prone on the ground, but you manage to get your back against the wall in this little nook, right where you entered. And this time, when the water comes in contact with the portal that you entered from, it rushes through it, but it doesn't rush out the other side of it. The rest of you are in this room. The water is rushing out. Actually, I guess, Gus, you'd have to move to this square. Otherwise, you'd be... Well, you can't because you're prone right now. So you're just kind of drowning there.
Well, no, I have water breathing.
Oh, that's true. So we have 21 hours of water breathing remaining. So yeah, the water is gushing out through the door at tremendous speeds. And there's no way out of the room except through that door.
Lucius, you alive?
And Lucius definitely can't hear you. Connor can barely hear you if you're yelling that.
Gus is going to crawl in the fetal position and going after him.
No, let me. I have healing.
Gus,
Yeah.
make me a strength saving throw. You can make this at it. No, you're not making it a disadvantage because you're not prone in the next hallway.
Strength saving throw.
Strength
that is
saving
a
throw.
21.
Can I throw Gus a rope before he starts running off into this water stream?
I'll leave that up to Gus.
Sure. Like if you
Yeah,
stop me.
Yeah, I'll hook a rope up to Scrappy and I'll just hold it. You're strong enough to hold on to it.
But yeah, 21 strength saving throw.
So, Gus, you managed to keep your feet. And, I mean, there's no walking through this doorway. You are carried through no matter what you do, just because the force of the water is so tremendous. But you manage to brace yourself for it. And when you get to the other side of the door, the water starts behaving a little more amicably because it's no longer just shooting forward through this hole, but it is spilling down the steep slope. And you manage to keep your feet. But moving down this slope is going to be tremendously difficult.
It's a water slide.
That's literally what it is. And
That's
you
what I'm
realize
yelling
that all of your friends coming through this door are going to have great trouble keeping their feet because you had trouble keeping your feet, and you're the strongest of them.
Okay, can I stand right here without sliding down?
You can stand anywhere. You can because you made that save.
All right. I'm going to.
Can we hear Gus when he yells it's a water slide?
No.
Okay,
you guys are standing on opposite sides of a raging waterfall, essentially.
I'm going to yank on the rope 3 times.
Okay.
And
I think he's okay. Connor, can you talk to him?
Oh, Connor can. Or he can.
Let me check. Yes, I can. Yeah.
Tell him, assuming Lucius is still alive, we should wait for the area to fill with water and then just make our way in.
What if it doesn't stop?
We'll solve that next.
Okay. And Connor relays that information.
How long are you going to wait here?
Well, right now I'm waiting to find out if Lucius is dead or alive.
So I guess that brings us back to Lucius, what are you doing?
Once I can get my feet underneath me, I'm going to attempt to cast Fly on myself.
And you expend the spell slot, and you feel the spell is dampened. Is that a concentration spell?
It is.
Well, that's not going to go well for you then. Because if you're concentrating on fly, you're not concentrating on your
Yeah,
hands.
no, strike that because fucking.
Non-cipher bonus.
He
Non-fiber
needs his
mode.
hands.
I am Brickroad. I am not happy with this concentration shit. I'm really not happy with it.
I have done
I
my
hate it.
job properly.
I hate it. I hate everything.
I find it amusing every time you say, "I need my hands to be my hands."
Hands into hands.
I'm glad I could be of service.
I'm
So,
sorry.
You're able to stand up, and again, the water's not like crashing into you because it's flowing into the same archway that you guys came into. So if you walk around the back of the archway, it's dry back there, and you can't see the water coming out of it.
I'm gonna cast. What's the range on thaumaturgy? 30 feet. Let's see. Let's do a little bit of measury here.
I mean, can he hear me screaming down there? I don't know if he's underwater.
If you guys are screaming up here, you guys could probably, like you and Connor might be able to, if you're really yelling through the waterfall. Lucius, there's no chance. He's really far away, all the way down, and there's running water the entire way.
Connor is sending his message telepathically
To Gus or to Lucius?
to Gus.
Okay.
Gus is yelling back. That Gus is yelling back really loud for you guys to come through, and that I'll catch you.
But I don't hear that.
Oh, Connor does, and Connor relays that, and Connor adds, "I have no intention of going out there. That's ridiculous."
I mean, we have to get
Lucius
through this
casts
portal, whatever that takes.
thaumaturgy. Lucius casts thaumaturgy to whip this door open and closed several times.
Okay.
Hopefully, someone can see that happening.
Gus, what's your passive perception? Oh, there's no light up here, though. There was light in the room. Gus, what's your passive perception?
13.
13?
No, it's 13.
As you and Connor are having this yelling conversation 10 feet away, you all do become aware of flashing light all the way down at the bottom of the slide, where the entrance of the feast room is. Your dark vision can't see that far, but you can see the light of the room flashing and being extinguished several times in succession.
I think Gus is yelling back. I think Lucius is signaling us.
Oh, he's getting signaled, all right.
Signaled.
Connor
So-
relays that to Alexander.
So is this doorway, the gateway that the water's coming out of, is it two-sided? Is it flush against the wall?
It's
Is there
flush
behind
against the
this
wall.
as well? Okay.
Presumably there is. Presumably, if you had a way to walk against the force of the water, you could go through the portal into wherever the origin is.
Right. All right, what if we get everyone in here and close the door to this room? If the water sounds like something's draining it on the other side.
Gus, you're the strongest in this group by far, and you don't think you could close this door against the flow of this water.
Yeah. No chance closing the door.
About thermatology.
Dermatology?
You heard what I said.
Own it. Make it your own.
It's a good name for a halfling.
You've got a ton of rope to throw down to Lucius, by the way, Gus.
All right.
Like, I'm not shy about loading ropes into the bag of holding.
I mean, and it's tied to Scrappy, so I guess I'll just.
Yeah, it's mounted on Scrappy. Scrappy's got a rope tie off, and I'm going to have to improve that to a winch after this adventure.
I'm just going to like slide down with the rope.
How much rope do you have?
Well, if I keep tying ropes together out of the bag of holding, I can get 200 feet.
If you can get all the way to the bottom with 200 feet, you're fine. If you can't, then we're going to have a roll with
5, 10,
wherever your
15,
rope runs out.
20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 80. Yeah, that's like less than 100.
Okay. Yeah, Lucius, after a few moments of making the door open and close, Gus comes sliding down the water slide.
Gustavus, listen to me. I have absolutely no strength to get myself out of this.
Gus,
I have absolutely no upper body strength. There's absolutely no way I'm going to be able to make this climb.
Are the keys underwater currently?
Oh yeah.
Is the water where the keys are have a very strong current?
Well, there's not really water building up into this room
Uh-huh.
because it's all getting flushed out the door. So
Right.
you're not in any danger of getting flooded in here. But yeah, the backside of the pedestal where you put the 3 keys is getting blasted and water is flowing up over
Wait,
the top
where,
and around
can you
the
show me
sides.
where that is on the map? Sorry.
Yeah, it's
I
about,
know water's coming from here.
about the middle of the room here.
Because I think what Alex is asking is, can we remove one of the keys from the thing? Right?
Yeah, I'm going to try and get my thieves' tools together to get a long wire hook and pull it out without going in there myself.
All right, Lucius, you want to get on my back,
Okay.
and I'm going to start climbing back up the rope.
Gustavus, listen to me. If I take another spill like that, I'm a dead man. Not even kidding. I don't think ribs are supposed to do what they're doing inside of me.
You do look like a somebody shoved a sausage into a sock and beat it against a wall.
What? What the hell? So you're putting Lucius on your back and you're pulling yourself back up this rope?
If that's what if Lucius wants to stay down here, I can just go back up without him.
There are safe and dry places to stay down here where you're not at any further risk of being harmed by the water. But climbing up the rope is going to involve a strength athletics check, and it's going to be a disadvantage for you if you're carrying Lucius.
You stay down here, Lucius, and just rest. Actually, I tell you what. Here you go, Lucius. And I hand him, because I still have a potion of healing. Here, take this if you need it.
Lucius immediately snatches it and shoves it in his face.
All right, so I'm going to tie a
Power
second rope
shoves that.
to Scrappy that's only 10 feet long.
Okay.
I'm going to tie the other half around my waist, and I'm going to try and get in here and pull one of these keys out.
Okay. There is a small space on the front of the pedestal where the keys are.
Mm-hmm.
Where there's just kind of a small vacuum pocket, simply because the water is flowing up over the top and around the sides of it. And so, with a little trouble, make a strength saving throw. You can make this at advantage because you're tied off.
That starts out in as 11, but it ends up being a 16.
Okay. Yeah, just getting your arm through to the nearest key to you, which is the double spirals. You manage to get your hand, you use your little hook to grab the edge of it and pull it. And as you do, the water immediately stops flowing, and you hear a grinding sound as the archway descends back into the floor, and the space in the floor covers it up. And now you're holding the third key.
The water eventually drains out, and no longer any danger of trying to crawl up.
Yeah, less than a minute, because the water stopped, the flow of it stopped immediately up on their end, and so eventually it does slosh all the way out through the portal at the other end, and before you guys start up, you realize that the portal at your end closes down once the water is no longer flowing through it.
You have to know so much fluid mechanics to be a dungeon master.
Hell.
I assure you, I don't know anything about fluid mechanics.
No, literally, this is the pace that Lucius is making on his way up.
Well, it's difficult terrain because of the steepness of it.
Do you want a piggyback ride?
No.
And after a few more moments, Gus and Lucius return up to the doorway.
There's
I got a key
portal-
out, so that stops it.
There's a portal down at the bottom that the water flushes into.
Yeah,
So
didn't want that.
So the question that I have is, obviously we've got 2 portals, right? Do we need to
Right.
try to go into this portal? Or do we go down the toilet portal?
Ooh, Lucius. Have you had a cat nap yet today?
Actually,
Yes, I think he has.
I think I did, yeah.
Okay. How beaten up is everybody else?
I'm fine.
Good.
Okay. I still feel like Lucius might need more vitality here.
Okay.
I'm down 40, so.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Alex screws a bit of one of his healing salves into his gun, pulls a trigger, and fine mist explodes from it, healing everyone in the room. So this is, what is it, 20, and then we take pairs?
I'm gonna be honest. If anybody ever told me, "You look like you're hurt. Hold on, let me get my gun."
So funny you say that, but there's a character in Xenoblade Chronicles that literally is a combat medic that uses a rifle, and all of her things have like heal
course there
bullets and
is.
stuff.
Also,
yes.
Overwatch, there's one of the snipers is a healer. She just has a gun that shoots. She has a sniper rifle that shoots darts.
Also, there's the Team Fortress 2 medic.
Also, there's healing bullets in Monster Hunter.
I do recall there was I don't know if we still do, not this past year for sure, but there used to be an anime convention over in Tampa we've gone to a couple times. And
Nice.
one year we went there and there was a thing like absolutely no guns or replicas inside. We don't care if they're healing guns.
Take your pairs, everybody.
There's 20.
I'm waiting for.
That was a real good roll. No, there's a ton of HP there. Just take them.
There's 30, and there is 40. And Lucius needs nothing else.
All right.
Lucius, I'm ready to go again.
I'll take
You got no.
3.
No, catnap. That's fighting for your third level spell slots though. So
And Alex taps his ring and gets a third level spell slot back.
All right, that's 12 hit points. I'm back to full.
How many naps are you guys gonna take?
Well, we still have some left over, huh? Okay, so take these.
I rolled real good on that one.
Yes, you did, and I'll take these, and that puts me at full. We have 9 left over.
Give them to Scrappy. If
Yeah,
he's
Scrappy
not
can get actual healing instead of hammers for once. He had 4 damage, so.
What's next?
we still let 5 hit points go to waste. Oh well.
right. I think we got to go through the portal where the water is rushing in from.
Yeah, I think we got to go to the toilet portal.
Oh, okay.
Why?
So the problem with that is I ended up falling ass over tea kettle down that entire pit.
Sure, but only. I mean,
and
if
it
we
nearly
think that's
killed
the,
me.
if we think that's the solution, only one person has to be in here when the water gets activated.
And
Correct.
we don't have to stand in front of the water.
But
I think I kind of agree with Connor. I can't imagine we're doing this the easy way. What if we close the door before we open it? Probably just get forced open, right?
Probably just gets blasted back open.
I
but
mean,
Is
we'll
there
see.
any way I could spike the door closed?
Not against the force of that water.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, you could spike the door closed, but you don't
it's just
think
gonna
it'll
break.
hold.
Yeah.
This water, the water pressure is really high, Alex. Like,
Actually, because of
don't-
the velocity, the pressure would be low. It's just the force is high. Bernoulli's principle.
I guarantee you.
What
could
if we
do this-
Bernoulli?
block the exit, let the area flood, and then swim in? Let
It's
it
not-
reach equilibrium.
It doesn't flood. There's a portal on the bottom.
Right, so
Yeah,
what if we
the-
block
the-
that?
How?
How?
I don't know. I'm the ideas guy. What do we have that could block a portal?
I left my bricklaying equipment at home.
How fast is the water moving when it gets down there?
Lucius, it doesn't slow down. It flows
No,
all the way down this
yeah.
really steep slope and out through the outdoor.
Like, there's absolutely no way me going outside this door that I could have gotten back in, and which means that there's absolutely no way I could get into that portal.
But okay, what if we tie like a watertight covering over the outside of the portal? Do we think we could get something that would hold?
I don't have anything like that on me.
I've got a ton of silk.
Oh,
Wasn't what I
right.
was
You
intending to use
brought-
it for, but
No, this stone door wouldn't keep this water back. Silk isn't going to do it either. It'll just tear through the fabric.
Also,
Okay.
there's like a big gap underneath the door. If you remember, there's like a several-inch gap that,
Mhm.
because unlike the rest of the doors,
So
oh no, I'm not talking about this door.
he's
I'm
talking
talking
about
about-
blocking the portal.
Yeah, using that to seal the portal, so the water can't leave and it floods the area.
I think we're going about this the wrong way. I think that I kind of understand where Gustavus is coming from. We need to go about opening this up a little smarter in that case, because that was not pleasant.
Yeah. So, okay, we'll try Alex's first. We'll try to get through this portal here, right? We'll
Mhm.
try. I'll try.
Okay.
And if I can't do it, then none of you are going to be able to do it. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lucius presses himself back up against the wall.
Yeah.
Can Scrappy help?
Bracing ourselves.
Scrappy help what?
Like give him advantage on athletics to shove his way through this water. Like give him something to brace against.
Not really, because Scrappy would have to make the same checks he does. Like, Scrappy's not an immovable piece of furniture.
No.
I'm looking at Connor going, Gus is just this is his job.
And okay, I'm tying Gus off to Scrappy though.
Sure.
With 50 feet of rope.
I'm gonna go through that door. I guarantee it. All right. Gus puts the 3 keys.
Yeah, I toss you the third key.
I'm going to put the 3rd key in and stand to the side so I don't get immediately blasted out the door.
Okay. Give me a dexterity saving throw.
A 2.
A 2. Gus.
Yep.
7 points of bludgeoning damage as you're blasted against the back wall here. And you are knocked prone.
Okay, Gus is gonna stand up.
Okay.
And he's gonna step to the side. And he's gonna go up and try to go through the portal.
Okay, and it's... give me a strength saving throw.
All right. 19.
19. You manage to step into the water, and instead of being thrown backwards and probably clipping your foot against the pedestal and going tumbling head over feet, you manage to pull yourself back out of the water. It's not possible. You would need supernatural levels of strength, or you'd need some way to stymie the flow of this water, and you have neither. If you were the fastest swimmer on... Well, no, if this was 3rd edition and you had a 30 in your swim skill, you could swim against this. But it's not. Getting you and the 500-pound badger and the tiny gnome guy with the hat, like, not a possibility getting through this portal in this direction.
All right. Alexander,
All right.
pull the key.
Yep. Actually, Gus, you're already in the water. Can you pull the key? So
Yeah,
you just have to
I'll-
reach around the pedestal. I'd
Yeah,
have to
I'll
go
just-
into the water.
I'll reach around and pull out one of the keys.
You pull out the key.
Okay. So here's what I'm thinking. Gustavus is probably the best chance of him controlling his descent out of all of us, so I think he should be the one to open this thing up in order to get us through the portal at the bottom.
All right, everybody into the pool.
So you guys are going to go down the slope to the end, and then Gus is going to put the
Yes.
key in? Or Scrappy?
Hold on,
and-
I just want to give me 1 second to see if there's something I want to do first.
Okay.
I always have, yep. Alright, let's do this. That's one of my always prepared, right? Where is it on this list?
Connor, you
Yep.
lost focus. My hands almost stopped being my hands for a minute.
Sorry, my bad. You were kind of thrown out of the doorway and then slid down a hill.
So Alex goes over to Gus, takes the platinum ring that he has a matching one, slips onto Gus's finger, taps it. Alright, I'm going to take half the damage, so do your best. And I'm casting a warding bond on Gus.
Okay. And you and Scrappy are going down to the bottom?
Yep.
Gus,
Yep.
now what?
Gus looks at the ceiling and closes his eyes, counts backwards from 10, takes a deep breath, and puts the key in.
Well, if you're only counting to 10, they're not at the bottom of the slope yet. So hopefully you count a little longer than that.
Well, I mean, I'm waiting for. I'm like, I'll wait,
Okay.
but like, I'll count backwards from 10 to kind of like hyping myself up to do this.
Yeah, you need a dexterity saving throw to avoid the blast of the water.
Hey, 18.
And then a strength saving throw, because eventually you've got to step into the water to exit
Yep.
the room.
Strength saving throw. That is a 22.
Okay. And moving down with the water is also incredibly difficult. Because at any point you could lose your footing. So go ahead and give me.
I was just gonna slide down on my butt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right then. Give me a strength saving throw.
All right. 19.
19.
That's a fun one. Somebody who can actually make those saves on for crowd.
36 points of damage, bludgeoning damage, which you can cut in half for passing the save.
And then you have resistance to that damage, and I take half as much.
So yeah, you think, you know what? This will be fine. I'll just slide down like I'm at freaking Dolly World. But as you start sliding, you realize you don't have any control over this slide. And you try to arrest your momentum by putting out your arms, but doing so just sends you into a spin. And before you know it, you're tumbling all the way down. And eventually he comes and crashes against the back wall.
Gus, it was 9 points total.
Yep.
There. Gus sticks up a thumbs up.
Oh, by the way, you have +1 to AC and saving throws while you're under the spell.
Oh, okay, cool.
All right.
So
Well,
in we
we've got
go.
however much longer on the water breather. Water breathing's burning. Let's go.
All right, I'll go through. Let me go through first, since
I'll send Scrappy after you.
I'm usually the bait. I'm an expert at it. You would say I'm a master.
No,
I
you
wouldn't say that.
So you guys are going through this bottom portal?
Yep.
All right. Rallick. Why don't you
Yes,
tell us who Rallick is?
Rallick is a man with a very fluid identity. He is a charlatan and a scammer, and works kind of for his own goals that nobody else completely understands but him.
Well, Rallick is a member of Kavnokar's Hand, which is a thieves guild in Dunfoss. A very, very old organization. In fact, they're so old that kind of as a front, they have one of the magic colleges in Dunfoss is called Kavnokar's Eye. It's a college associated strongly with illusion magic, and it has one of the great ziggurats up in Gnome Town is their base of operations. And it's not an open secret that the Thieves Guild exists underneath the facade of this magic college. Very few people know this. In fact, very few people outside of the Thieves Guild would have this information. But Rallick definitely would. Rallick has one of his identities owns a bookshop in Dunfoss. Tell me about that.
He is he runs a bookshop, and his particular identity for that one is he appears as an affable old man in a white seersucker suit with a cane who goes by the name of Eustace Augustus Beauregard Calhoun IV.
Okay, well that's ridiculous. Is this how legit is this bookshop on a scale of like 1 to 10? Do you pay your taxes? Do you keep on the up and up?
Yes, this one actually has a successful front. This one is probably around a 9 as far as legit.
Okay.
He just supplements it with he steals book. His scam is that he steals books and supplements his shop with it. But that shop is his front. So
what you've noticed a lot over the years is the bookshop is more lucrative a business than like the black market in illicit books would be. It's actually very rare that you come into contact with like an old first edition or an old valuable tome that you have to try to go out of your way to steal and then hide in this bookshop. More money is made more consistently just through the regular trade. So as you kind of establish yourself in town, I guess the first question is, where is this bookshop physically located in Dunfoss?
I would assume it would. I mean, he's a half elf, so like if the guild's in Gnome Town, I would assume he would be kind of around in that area somewhere.
So your bookshop
Unless it
operates
would be
in Gnome Town?
Yeah, unless it would be unusual for him to do so.
Not necessarily. Gnome Town, first of all, it's out. Excuse me, I'm really burpy all of a sudden. First of all, it's outside of the city walls. You go through one of the city's main gates to get out into Gnome Town. Gnome Town is predominantly industry. A lot of dwarves and a lot of gnomes. And in fact, part of Gnome Town is just this giant festering pit where excavations and kind of alchemical experimentations are carried out, although the actual origins of the pit have been lost to time. So no, there would be no difficulty with you having a bookshop out there.
Yeah, that would make sense because he would specialize in, say, semi-magical texts and things that would be used there for that alchemical experimentation. So that would make a lot of sense.
Even magical texts coming through, like old transcriptions of like old magical schematics and things. You probably don't do much of a business in spellbooks just because that's kind of thing is incredibly valuable. That would kind of only be done through private trade. But a lot of what you'll do is like a pallet of books comes through that you acquire in bulk and pass on in bulk. A lot of collectors in town, a lot of the old nobility, members of Tylestinus Apt. A lot of times you'll get a pallet of old books and they'll sit there for 3 days, but they're already like on consignment to somebody else. Like they're just passing through your shop as kind of a middleman. You take 10%, send them on their way. In this trade, this position in town, you're very well positioned to do this. Being outside of the walls, you don't have a lot of mosscap presence here. There's not a lot of eyeballs on you, and there's not a lot of foot traffic either. So doing these kind of trades is relatively common for you. And as it happens, a couple of months ago, one of these pallets came through town, coming in as delivery. But for whatever reason, the person on the other end inside of Dunfoss wasn't able to pay for it, and you ended up holding on to it for a couple of days until you found a buyer from Blue Worm who wanted it instead. So you sold it on its way. You still made your money. You didn't think much of it. The next question I need to ask Rallick is recently Dunfoss had a change in king. The throne was taken by Sigurd Tensails, the pirate king. The old king was King Maximilian, an aged dwarf, and amongst Kavnokar's the Illusions Magic School, had little use for this king. He wasn't anti-magic, but a lot happened under his rule to kind of rein in the freedom that a lot of the magic colleges had previously enjoyed. As far as the Thieves Guild is concerned, one of the things he did was establish the Signers Guild, which is a magician's guild. The only thing they did was ensure that business dealings in Dunfoss were not done under magical coercion. Suffice it to say that the Thieves Guild was doing a lot of those kinds of deals, and Maximilian ruined it. And now you have this pirate king, who's kind of an unknown quantity, although he has promised every man and woman in Dunfoss a pile of gold, such as the riches he will bring back. So the question is, where did Rallick stand on the side of this king? Was he for the regime change, or does he oppose this pirate king?
Rallick is the type to just take whatever opportunity that comes. Like he doesn't really form an allegiance, so to speak, on that one, but he could see the opportunity that getting rid of Maximilian would bring. So he would be for the change to 10 cells conditionally. Just he always thinks that he can turn any situation to his advantage. So he's only looking on the things that he can gain from 10 cells changing.
Okay. You were contacted within the past week or so by Ulsis Nin. Ulsis Nin is a master illusionist and a master lockpick. And something of a folk hero among the commons. The commons, they speak of Ulsis Nin as somebody who, like, doesn't really exist. Like, lock up your valuables or Ulsis Nin will get to them kind of stuff. You know that Ulsis Nin is a real person because Ulsis Nin is the leader of Kavnokar's Hand. And Nin contacts you and wants to speak with you on the subject of this consignment of books that came through your shop. It arrived in your shop. It It was supposed to go somewhere in Dunfoss. It ended up not doing that and turning around and getting sold off to a collector in Blue Worm.
Mm-hmm.
Meeting with Nin is a very bizarre experience. There are secret passages and things, especially beneath the ziggurat in Gnome Town, that you're aware of because you've done dealings with the Thieves Guild in the past. And Nin doesn't have personal quarters here. He's meeting with you just in one of the common rooms, but you notice when you go in there, into the commons area, large carpets laid on the ground and lit by bronze braziers that are standing up against the walls. Lots of entrances into this room from a lot of different directions, both human size and gnome size. But when you come in today, the commons are completely quiet. Nobody there except for Nin. You are escorted there, and when you enter, your escort closes the door behind them. And you know of the 12 or 13 other entrances in this room, all are closed. And you've never seen this before. And Nin sits cross-legged on the center carpet and bids you to come and sit next to him.